Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning in for another episode. I've got a really good tip for you today on a technique that I've been using both during the spring for sight fish as well as sight fishing cruising fish during the summer and early fall months. It's something I've done for a while. I haven't really ever talked about it, but I feel like it's time to let the cat out of the bag because I think it's something that is not only really fun to fish, but it's something that I know will help you catch a few extra fish during those time periods. And therefore, I feel like I should share it with you. It's a technique that's pretty cool and pretty fun. And I haven't heard anyone else talk about it, so I don't know. There's probably people doing it. Anyways, guys, before I get into that, I do want to remind you that I've got one-on-one sessions that you can book through Fish the Moment with me. It'll be a 1-hour Zoom call where you can ask me anything you want. We can pull up lake maps and go over spots, do whatever. But you can set that up through fishthemoment.com. I've got the link to that in the description of this video. Also, guys, if you're looking to purchase tackle, please use my Tackle Warehouse affiliate link that I provide in the video description. Great way to support the channel, and it's very much appreciated. And tips like this, guys, are the reason why I hope you keep coming back to my channel. This is something that I call a reverse wacky rig. It's something that is kind of a cross between a wacky rig and a free rig. For those of you guys that are big free rig fans, this is something you might want to pay attention to. It's pretty straightforward. You take your free rig weight. In this case, I've just got an old drop shot weight that I open up because that's what I like to use as a free rig weight. I've got a lighter finesse wide gap hook right there. And then I've got here, this is a Z-Man floating worms, which is kind of the key here. And you're just gonna rig up this floating worms as a wacky rig, just like that. But what you've just done is created a reverse free rig. And what I mean by that is when you pull the bait through the water, you'll get some separation, and then you've got a bait that not only is a good wacky rig, but is one that will float back up to the surface. So it literally pulls line back up through the free rig weight. So if you have cruising fish, you can look at that fish, see it out there, shake it like a wacky rig, keep it suspended in the water column if you like. You can pull it down to the bottom of the weight if you want to do that because you think the fish is going to eat it off there, or if they show no interest, you let the bait float back up to the surface, which a lot of times is something that those fish can't stand because they don't ever see somebody's bait working back up to the surface. They always see the baits falling from the surface to the bottom. It's a floating worm that is just meant to float back up to the surface. The reason I like the floating worms by Z-Man is because they're one of the most buoyant baits that I know of. You can do this with other floating baits as well, but it's just a matter of finding something that's buoyant enough to pull your hook and some line back up to the surface. I'm going to show you what this looks like in the water just so you can see it. But I do want to point out here that I think it's critical to use a smaller hook like this finesse wide gap hook because it's lighter. If you go with a bigger, say standard wacky rig hook, it's going to be heavier and you're not going to get the same flotation. So I like to go with a lighter wire hook. I throw this presentation just on some spinning gear. I've got right now an 8-pound 100% Berkeley fluorocarbon. Match it up with a 7.3 medium light spinning rod, and I've got here just a good Abu Garcia MG Extreme spinning reel. Just something that's got some good line. I like the spinning rods because I feel like it's a little easier to not only throw a bait that's a little lighter and more finesse, but at the same time it's almost easier to give line in. I feel like, you know, you just carry more of a bow in your spinning rods than you do a bait caster, and it's easier to feed that line back. But let's take you in the water just to show you how it works. But like I said, this is killer on cruising fish during the summer and fall months when they're up on flats, and it's excellent during the spring, guys, if you're sight fishing then too. So let's head down to the river. Okay, I hope you can see this. I've got the floating worms by Z-Man matched up with a Berkeley Fusion 19 wide gap finesse hook and a drop shot that I've opened the eye on to create a free rig. It's a pretty simple thing. You know, I'm just going to show it to you. Hopefully you can see it just fine, but I throw it out. You can see the worm just floated to the surface. It is on the surface. I can pull it back down. Right now it's on the bottom connected to my weight. Give it some slack. Look at that worm floating back up. So I can twitch it. It floats back up. I can twitch it, bring it back down. When it comes up, it just shimmies like you would expect out of a good wacky rig. You know, right now I'm standing in the water just so you can see it. I'm about I don't know, 1.5 feet deep, and there's the worm floating right back up. It's on the surface. I can twitch it. I can pull it all the way back up to the weight, hold it on the bottom, give it some line. Look at that. She swims right back up to the surface. You can keep it suspended, twitching it there. Comes right back up to the surface. Guys, I'm telling you, this is something you need to experiment with. This is a great technique that has been catching a lot of fish for me, and it's something I've just kind of been keeping secret to myself. But I think you want to experiment with it, and you'll see how good the reverse wacky rig, is what I call it, can be. Man, the fish just don't like it floating back up to the surface. Anyways, guys, I'm gonna go head out on the water, do a little fishing, take the boys out, give this reverse wacky rig a try. I think you're gonna like it.